you're watching Fantasy Suites. What was going through your mind when you saw all the I love yous?
Yeah. Crazy. I did know, some things
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah.
Watching it play out was just like it's just crazy to watch and like see it, like, because it is such good TV, but
Mm-hmm.
like these are real people and these are my friends. So watching it was really hard to see, especially like him yelling out the I love yous to Rachel and Gabby in like very similar ways.
Yeah,
It was like hard to watch and just knowing like probably what they're feeling in that moment as well.
right.
It was the worst episode I think for me to watch, and I wasn't even in that one. I think it's just heartbreaking for all four of them, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily meant to do it, but when you're like the way it gets cut up and you're
Totally.
like every date, there's a formula. They go on the
Mm-hmm.
date, they have dinner, it's the overnight. So when you see that 3 times in a row and on the third time you're like, oh
Exactly.
my God, he's sitting at dinner and giving the same speech for the third time, then you're like,
Yeah,
oh no, this is like, it's in the same
not
place. He's
good.
sitting across the table from her. It's the same thing. What are your thoughts on Susie's feelings? Because of course she's valid in whatever feelings she
Mhm.
has when it comes to
Yeah.
sex perhaps being a deal breaker for her. Do you think that that was fair for her to do? And do you think like because this is a thing, everyone says she should have said something earlier,
Yeah.
but sometimes you don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good point. You really sometimes don't have the opportunity. I love Suze, and I know her intentions were never to like trick him
Yeah.
in this. I maybe would have done things a little bit differently. And again, like we just don't know. Maybe she didn't have the opportunity. If it was something that was a deal breaker for me, I think personally, I probably would have told him before it all started.
Right.
But I'll say in the real world, you should never have to tell your
No.
boyfriend that you don't want him to sleep with someone else.
No.
So I
Yeah.
completely understand her point of view in that. However, we are in a different environment where we are okaying him to have full relationships with other women as well. So I think that's where it makes it a little bit tricky, where I see honestly both sides, where she wasn't sure she was being chosen. So she didn't want to tell him ahead of time and ruin his whole experience of then going into fantasy suites with Rachel and Gabby and maybe not doing something and then regretting it. So I don't know. I see both sides of it, and I feel bad for both of them in this.
Yeah.
I think like where it just changes is the way he did end up speaking to her in the end.
Yeah.
It's just so hard because I think they both are right in some ways.
Yeah.
I think Susie did not mean to dupe him in this way, and if that's her value, she has to stick with that. And like I respect that, but I also understand Clayton. We all did tell him, especially when you get far enough, like I want you to fully experience dating these other women, because if it's me in the end that you get on one knee for, I want it to be because you fully know that it's me and not because you didn't do something or did do something with another woman. So I think I understand where he was like, well, you were telling me to date them, but I don't know. It's so hard. I go back and
I
forth
know.
between it, but I do have so much respect for Susie. And I think the way she handled the conversation with him that night, I think she did do it the best she could.
Definitely. I agree with you. I said this during our recap. I saw someone post I think it was a tweet where they were like, Clayton's still living in under Bachelor rules and Susie's living in under real life rules, where
Totally.
she's really looking to like a real life engagement, and Clayton's still like, I'm the Bachelor and I have
Yep.
2 other women and this is all going on. And a lot of times like I do feel like unfortunately his natural reaction to hearing who he claims to be his number one girl, right? Like he's like, I love you. You're the one I love the
love you.
most.
Yeah.
We're tearing love now.
Yeah, exactly.
Was just like anger for him to be like, oh my God, I went through this whole thing and the girl who I hope to end it with is now gonna walk away, and
Yeah.
how stupid am I gonna look? And then you start
Totally.
like, then it becomes an ego thing, which, we don't have enough time to talk about, but
Yeah.
it's, what are your thoughts going into the finale? Because look, if I now think he's probably single. I don't even know if he proposes. I just feel like if I was Rachel or Gabby and I was watching this and I saw how angry he got / him saying, I love you the most,
Totally.
I'm like, I'm not
Totally.
gonna go with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where it makes it tricky because we see like the day portion of his date with Susie, and it's not like they did anything that was so like life altering for him that it would have changed his mind. So going into that night and saying, I love you the most, it seems like you already knew you loved her
Yep.
the most before your date with Rachel and Gabby.
Yep.
So if you loved her the most, then why did you even feel the need to tell the other women that you loved them if you
Yeah.
loved someone the most? And why did you sleep with the other two women if you loved her the most?
Yeah.
So I think that's where it becomes hard. And I don't know how he's going to respond to that. But if I was in their position, I feel so deeply for them. And I think it's a hard position to be in. I don't know how I would come back from that
Yeah.
if I was either of them, seeing the way he responded with Susie wanting to leave.
I know. So we're going to have a pretty crazy finale. That is for sure. We'll see how it comes to an end. But to end on a little bit of a light note, I think everyone really loved you this season. I think you are so great. You really I just felt like you handled this show really well. And I hope to see you on Paradise. And if you were to end up on Paradise, I know you said you kind of thought maybe Greg or Andrew would be the Bachelor. Who would you like to see on the beach?
Ooh, I said names and I got in trouble by just everyone was like, some people liked my choices, some people didn't, and I heard it on both sides. I'll say the person, I'm just going to get in trouble again because I keep doing this to myself.
It's okay.
I'll say the person that I've been consistent and definitely wanting to meet on the beach. I haven't met any of these guys in person or talked to them.
Good clarification.
Yes, because a lot of people are like, oh, she's already seeing someone. I have not met any of them, nor do I plan to until if I went to Paradise. I definitely want to meet Andrew Spencer if I go.
Yeah.
And then I think Ben from Tayshia's season is really cute, but I have no idea if he would even be going. So.
Yeah. Well, I think those are two very good choices. So hopefully we do see you in Paradise. I think you would be an awesome addition, and you were so great this season. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. And, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.